All right,
We back?
we're here. This is it.
We're
This
back
is
on
us.
this beautiful
Yep.
day in Florida, maybe 70 degrees. As I look
Yeah.
out my window, there is not a cloud in that beautiful blue sky.
It's
The
nice.
humidity is low. It's going to be a great weekend. Enjoy it because 95 is coming soon to a town near you. I will have to back up and say, yes, I do have my Made in America Read and Read shirt on.
Yay.
July, baby, coming up. Hopefully we get the parade back that starts right outside our office. Looking forward to that.
That's true. That's true.
Jason has a special update on crime at the end of this session. Welcome to Live Feed Reads. Again, Paul Reed with your Ed McMahon to my Johnny Carson, Jason Crawford. All right, so Jason, I was telling you, this last week alone, I've gotten so many calls, questions, clients coming in saying that they have full coverage insurance when they don't, stating that, believe it or not, one of the major insurance companies that use a little green lizard is literally, told him he didn't need uninsured motorist coverage because he has health insurance.
Wait a minute. So you had someone who was in an accident come in?
Correct.
And tell you, I'm covered.
First off, we will never use that term again.
I'm sorry.
Accident.
You're
not in an accident when you're driving a car. You're in a crash, because accidents don't just happen. If you are not speeding, not weaving in and out of traffic, not playing on your phone, not eating, not reading a book, leaving proper distance, paying attention to what you're doing, you don't have a crash.
Yeah, that's.
So I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
Don't
run
red lights,
not Bob Ross happy little accidents.
These are. So there is no such thing as a car accident.
Fair enough.
The insurance industry wants you to believe and wants you to call it. So when you're a jury, you say, well, accidents happen. We're sitting and you're not giving any money. So no more. I don't want to hear that term. All right. So anyway,
I'm with you.
Yeah, he says he comes in. I'm talking to him. I said, well, did the at-fault party have bodily injury liability? He says, well, I don't know, but they had like State Farm or the Travelers, I forget. But usually most of those types of companies have bodily injury, but not always. And we'll get into what all that is. And so I said, well, why it is you didn't buy uninsured motorist coverage? He goes, well, first, I don't know what most of the insurance coverages are because I came from up north. And two, Geico told me because I have insurance, health insurance, I don't need it. That just that couldn't be the farthest from the truth. So let's just jump on into it. So what does full coverage mean? Well, to be honest, it could mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Remember, in Florida, all you're required to have full coverage under the state of Florida is property damage and the personal injury protection benefits. That's it. And that's what a lot of people are driving around with, the minimum full coverage, because it costs so much. So I get it. I'm not ragging anyone. I think it's a mistake, but that is what it is. And so property damage is simply this. If Jason, and we're going to use you and I, you're going to be the at-fault driver throughout this conversation, and I'll just be the non-at-fault driver. Okay. So we get in a crash, and you of course damage my car. Your property damage will fix my car. It will pay for the damage. Now my
policy for property damage.
Your property damage, and they come in 10, 25, 50, 100, etc. and up. Okay. Well, Florida only requires $10,000 in property damage. I beg you to find a car that, if you total it, of course, is $10,000.
Yeah.
And I beg you to find a newer car with moderate damage that's not totaled that's $10,000. So first and foremost, look at your policy. If you see $10,000, I would get more. And here's what people don't understand. And this goes for all of these policies, so I don't have to keep saying it. Go click, and a lot of it's online, of course, anymore. Click on, so it's 10,000 is $200. Is 25,000 going to be $400? The answer is no. And in fact, it might be $210. So $10 more a month, or $110, or whatever that
damage it's a break is.
It doesn't exponentially double and triple just because you double and triple your premium. So you
Right.
click on it and say, what's 10,000? $100. What's 25? 110. What's 50? 130. Well, think about it. For $30
Yeah.
more a month, or whatever it is on the
Or whatever it
policy,
is. Right.
you
Yeah.
get maybe 5 times as much coverage. So
Yeah.
always click on each exponentially higher policy amount to see what it does. So
Now,
that's
Paul,
number
as a side note, because I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, then who do I talk to about this kind of stuff? You guys do like declaration reviews, right?
on every single case since time began.
Yeah. No, but I mean like for people if they
Oh yeah, if
ask.
you want to call or send me your policy, email it. Absolutely, it's simple. I'll tell you what you got, what you have,
Yeah,
and
because
what
a
you
lot of
need,
people
and
might
so
not
forth.
know
Of
heads or
course,
tails looking at it.
many do not. My buddy's a
Yeah.
lawyer with a state attorney's office, and way back when he said, "Look, I'm renewing my policy. I have no clue what I'm supposed to get," and he had very little coverage. I said, "No, you need this.
Yeah.
And understand this:
Yeah.
the more money you have, the more coverage you need, because God forbid you do some significant damage to someone or someone's property, they may come after you individually, which they
Yeah.
can, believe me. All right, number 2 is
Yeah.
that personal injury protection. And
Okay.
that's under the no fault statute. And I told no one knows what the heck no fault means. And it's a terrible acronym for an insurance, for the Florida insurance. Instead of no fault, replace it with regardless of fault. Okay. So
Okay.
Florida regardless of fault insurance is simply this. It is basically a health a medical health care plan under your car insurance. That's all it is. The PIP, personal
Yeah.
injury protection, pays up to, depending, but let's just for purposes, up to $10,000 in medical bills and lost wages. That's it. So it's a lost wage plan, and it's a health insurance plan. Okay. And what it simply means is this: regardless of who's at fault, in our scenario throughout this thing, Jason's at fault and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not at fault. We're both hurt. Okay. So,
Right.
but regardless of fault, if Jason's hurt, his personal injury protection, his insurance is going to pay his medical bills and lost wages, a percentage, and mine, even though I'm not at fault, are going to pay a percentage of my medical bills and lost wages.
Okay.
So here's what's interesting. It is a 3-tiered system. So number 1 is, if you own a car, that's the end of the conversation on whose insurance is going to pay. If I'm a pedestrian, but I own a car, my car had nothing to do with the crash. My PIP, my personal injury protection, will pay lost wages, medical bills. If I'm on a bicycle, my PIP, even though I'm not in my car, it's going to pay. If I'm in my son's car, even though my car's not involved, my PIP is going to pay. So the first question is simply, when people come in, do you own a car? Yes, then that's the end of the inquiry. All right,
Okay.
let's say they say no. Okay. Next question is, do you live with a relative by blood or marriage who owns a car? This one gets tricky, because let's say the answer to that is yes. Well, I live with my cousin, maybe my second cousin. I don't even know what that is.
Right. Okay.
Or look at this, or I live with an in-law. I'm not even related by blood, but it's by blood or marriage.
Okay.
And let's just say you're a pedestrian, or you're in my car, or you're in someone else's car. So that relative, that household relative,
yeah,
their automobile insurance under the PIP is going to have to cover that family member.
Okay.
Imagine that, Jason. You're living with your brother-in-law, and what is that? Your sister,
yeah,
and your brother-in-law.
Yeah.
And you're in my car. We get hit. You don't own a car. You got to go home and say, hey, I need your auto insurance because I went to the hospital by ambulance, and your insurance is responsible for my medical bills and lost wages.
Wow.
They flip out.
For sure.
What? You're not using my insurance. I have nothing to do with it. Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's how it works.
Wow.
Yeah, it's ugly. I literally had an individual.
Man, this is the shit people don't know. Like,
I had to haul him into court to get his. He wouldn't provide it, to get the insurance, because there was $10,000 in bills that needed to get paid. All right,
Wow.
number three, and this is the final one. If you basically, no, if you do not own a car and you do not live with a relative, so you can either
Okay.
you live by yourself or just a friend, and it can be a fiance, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, but you're not married. So you
Okay.
basically don't own a car and you don't live with a relative, then you get to utilize the personal injury protection benefits for the car that you're in. Jason, you live by yourself. You're in my car, we're in an accident, you use my insurance. That's simple. You're in your mom's car, you use your mom's insurance. You're in your friend's
Okay.
car, you use your friend's insurance. You're in your
Okay.
fiance's car, you use your fiance's insurance because you don't own a car and you don't live with a relative who owns the car. You're on
Okay.
a bicycle or a pedestrian, you use the insurance of the car that mows you over. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so that's it. That's your PIP. That's the regardless of fault
Yeah.
statute. All right, so then next is, comprehensive coverage and collision coverage is simply this. Collision is your car's damaged, regardless of whether you're at fault or not, your insurance company will fix your car. Example, Ryan's
Okay.
driving down the street in his big ass, nasty old Lexus out there, and somebody whacks him that only has a $10,000 policy, right? And they total his $100,000 car.
Yeah.
Well, needless to say, he's not going to be able to use your policy because you only have $10,000.
Yeah.
He's going to have to file it under his collision because that, he needs his car, it's totaled, he needs it, the fair market value needs it replaced. So that's what collision does.
Okay.
You can utilize that coverage regardless if you're at fault or someone else is at fault. And then you're just subject to a deductible, 250, 500, 1,000. And what that deductible simply means is this. Let's say your car is not totaled. You go to a garage, the other person, you hit a tree. So there is no other person. You hit a tree and there's $10,000 in damage. You have $1,000 deductible. Your insurance is going to pay $9,000 of that bill, and you're responsible for that $1,000. Just that simple. If your car's totaled and you have a $10,000 car and you have $1,000 deductible, you're going to get $9,000.
Yeah. Wow.
So the deductible simply means you're going to either have to pay that 250, 500, or 1,000, or you're just not going to get 250, 500, or 1,000 if your car is a total loss. Pretty simple. Comprehensive coverage is the same thing. It protects your car if it's vandalized, stolen. Sometimes you have hail damage.
Yeah.
I've had clients where
Tree falls on it.
trees have fallen on it. So comprehensive is basically damage to your car not caused by a collision.
If you're like a baseball park and like the foul ball or whatever hits your car,
that would be your comprehensive coverage.
Got you.
Again, all of that would be subject to a deductible if you have one. Remember, you don't have to, but the higher the deductible, the less you pay.
Right.
So that was it. Yeah, baseball. In fact, funny story, kid you not, when I was playing baseball at Florida College, I'm a right-handed hitter. The gym was basically, our dugout was on the third base side to the left. The parking lot was to the left. Well, I don't know exactly. I think it was a changeup. Either way, I got way ahead of the ball, right?
Yeah.
And I yanked it into the parking lot, and we heard a window smash.
Nice.
Thought it was hilarious. Laughing, whatever. Playing the game, finished the game. That's crazy. Going over to the locker rooms to get your cleats and put them up. I smashed my own window.
Oh, what are the odds?
In the middle of my darn windshield.
What are the odds?
As God is my witness, I'm like, boy, it was funny 2 hours ago. But it wasn't funny anymore. I literally drove home just because I drove home with a ball sticking in the driver's passenger side window. Yeah, that
like you funny. Left it there, just.
Yeah, just because I wanted to show Mom. I said, Mom, look what happened.
Look, Mom, I did a thing.
Exactly. So that was free, but that would have been the comprehensive. Now again, windshield damage is free under your comprehensive policy, but either way. But yes. All right. Next. So
sure. Okay.
We've got PIP, We've got property, comprehensive, and collision. Okay, so what another thing that people don't realize, another type of health insurance, so to speak, through your automobile policy, which is a good thing to have, especially if you don't have health insurance, or you have a $6, $8, $10,000 high deductible, is what's called medical payments coverage. It's simply that it covers your medical bills. And so it comes in 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, maybe 10,000. It is very cheap. I mean, it might be $20 or $30 for $1,000 coverage or 2,000. And it's simply that you go to the hospital by ambulance, right?
Yeah.
Your personal injury protection benefit, it's $1,000 bill. Your personal injury protection benefits will pay 80% of that. Again, let's say you have no deductible, which you shouldn't have. And then, but then you would be responsible for $200 of that. Well, your medical payments coverage, let's say Jason has $1,000. The right hand will reach into the PIP portion of the policy and grab $800 to hand to the ambulance bill. Jason's left hand will reach into the medical payments coverage of the policy, grab $200, pay that to the ambulance. Total bill $1,000, paid in full. Jason owes nothing.
Okay.
Goes to the hospital. Jason goes to the hospital for $5,000 bill. Right hand pulls out 80% of $5,000 or $4,000. Left hand with MedPay pulls out the other remaining balance. Jason owes nothing. So medical payments coverage, especially if you do not have health insurance or you have a high deductible, is very cheap and it's something you may have. Now, having said that, dude, I hate insurance. Leanne and I, are you kidding me? It's ridiculous. I hate homeowners insurance. I hate all insurance until my house burns down.
Right.
Then I'm glad I have it.
Yeah.
So that having been said, I get it. It's expensive. If you can afford these extras, I recommend you do so. If not, well, hopefully life is becomes
good to you.
More prosperous for you, and at some point you can.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, the next would be bodily injury liability, and what started the conversation, uninsured motorist coverage. The reason I link them together, they are exactly the same. It is the same coverages in my right hand as my left. Here's the difference. The bodily injury coverage in my left hand protects me if I'm at fault and I hurt Jason, and you have broken bones and pain and suffering and unpaid medical bills and unpaid lost wages. My bodily injury coverage will pay you or compensate you for those damages. That's what we call those in the law. They're called damages. Lost wages are damages. Medical bills are damages. Pain and suffering are damages.
Right.
Loss of the enjoyment of life, damages. Inconvenience, damages. So my bodily injury, so we're going to call them damages. My bodily injury will protect me, meaning I don't have to pay out of my pocket for Jason's damages. I have purchased bodily injury liability coverage. Again, you must have at least $10,000. Not by law, by Paul Reed telling you, you must have at least $10,000 and more if you can afford it. And here's
this is not legal advice, but it's good advice.
It is. It is. Because what happens is, if you don't have bodily injury liability coverage, right? And I know State Farm does this. And let's say Jason does not have bodily injury liability coverage, and I have uninsured motorist coverage, which is the same coverage as that bodily injury, but I'm buying it to protect myself in case the person, in this case Jason, does not have bodily injury or doesn't have enough. So the same things. It's one is bodily injury protects me if I hurt you, and uninsured motorist coverage protects me if you hurt me and you
don't have anything.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say I have State Farm. I don't. But if State Farm pays $50,000, well, for several years now, State Farm hires or has a law firm. Now, I don't know if it's its law firm or how they work on commission. I don't know. But there's a law firm in Cocoa Beach that files a lawsuit against Jason for State Farm as a subrogate of Paul Reed. They get a judgment against you for $50,000, the money they paid me. Jason says, what do I care? I don't have any money. And then lo and behold, about a month goes by and Jason gets a little envelope in the mail. He gets an envelope.
Yeah.
This is from the state of Florida, Department of
Yeah.
Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. Jason says, shit, I might want to open this. I might want to read it. Looks official.
Looks official.
Jason, you got
That's exactly what I would say.
You got a judgment against you 2 months ago, and you haven't paid it. Oh, guess what? Your license is now suspended indefinitely.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. So now Jason doesn't have a driver's license.
Wow.
And Jason never will have a driver's license until 1, he files bankruptcy, or 2, he makes arrangements to pay off that judgment.
Jeez. Okay.
And Jason's thinking, oh, I'll just drive anyway. Well, state of Florida got tired of that attitude as well. I believe now the third driving with a license suspended is a felony. Now Jason's going to prison. Because why? He didn't have bodily injury liability coverage.
Oh, wow. That escalated quickly. Yeah.
Now here's the kicker.
So I have a question that came in.
Hold on. Unfortunately.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, unfortunately, as a personal injury lawyer, if someone has 10,000, you either, and it's catastrophic injuries, you'll either say, look, Jason, you got 10,000. There's only $10,000, nothing I can do. You take the money. And they give the person the release for 10 grand, even though the damages might be 100,000.
Right.
But you have 10,000. Oftentimes that person will give you a release, take the 10. And so you've dodged a bullet. So that having been said, you must have $10,000 in bodily liability, according to Paul. Did you say there was a question?
Yeah, there's a question. It says, when does your medical insurance pay anything if you're in a crash, or is it only your car insurance?
No, that's why I make a lot of money. It is very tricky and intricate to try to weave all this together.
To get people taken care of.
Is your health insurance will definitely start paying once that personal injury, that $10,000 exhausted.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Also, what the dichotomy with PIP and health insurance is, let's say you go to the hospital, Brandon Regional, right around the corner here, and which they do, have a $50,000 bill for your ER treatment.
Yep.
Let's just say they get $10,000, which happens all the time. They take all $10,000 of your PIP.
Yeah.
All right. So, but you have Blue Cross and Blue Shield, Humana, United, or whatever. And so what happens is, let's say Humana or Blue Cross had been sent that $50,000 bill, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now they're not going to pay it. They'll say, look, of that bill, we would have paid $3,500, $2,500. Believe it or not, $500. It's really sad, the reimbursement rates for these insurance companies and the hospitals. But look, they negotiate them at arm's length and contracts and all that.
Yeah.
So regardless, your health insurance would have paid less than that $10,000. Well, now you benefit, because Brandon Regional Hospital, or wherever it's called nowadays, basically has to write off the balance, because they actually received more money than they would have had you just fallen out of a tree and had the same treatment, so to speak. You follow me?
Oh, okay.
So because it's a car wreck, your PIP paid $10,000.
Okay.
Your Blue Cross and Blue Shield would have paid $5,000. You would think, well, I still owe them $45,000 or whatever. No. So it really benefits.
Interesting.
Even if the health insurance doesn't pay, you say, well, you have to write off the balance because you have a contract with my client's health insurance. You got paid more than you would have had the health insurance paid. So
it's like a college degree course here. I'm like, my brain is fried. I'm like, imagine how complicated.
Why does my health insurance have to pay? And I say, look, they won't. I said, but you will benefit by having the hospital or the medical provider submit to them, because I guarantee you what they would be responsible for if they were to pay is going to be less than what the hospital or the emergency room doctor or the radiologist is going to get, from your auto, and therefore you have a zero balance.
Oh, wow.
And then you should really have Medicare and Medicaid. Holy cow.
Jeez.
I mean, it's really beneficial. You say, look,
yeah,
my client had Medicare, they would have paid you 14 cents. You got $100. Thank you. Right off that $50,000 bill.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So and then the uninsured motorist, like I said, it's the same exact thing, but it's to protect you or in this, me, when you either don't have any bodily
Yeah.
injury or not enough. Let's just say Jason has 10,000 or 25 or 50, but he paralyzes me. Well, hell, that ain't going to be enough in any
No.
situation.
No.
So then I would turn to my, in this case, underinsured motorists, because you're not uninsured in the sense you have bodily injury. You just don't have enough. So Florida allows for uninsured slash underinsured motorist coverage. So
Okay.
those are basically the insurances that are available under your policy. Full coverage would have all of them.
Wow,
PIP,
man.
PIP, property damage, med pay,
We're
comp,
definitely gonna have to save this
collision,
video.
bodily injury, and uninsured motorist coverage. Now I
Yeah.
can tell you, uh, I do, of course, I have to, needless to say. I got little Leanne in the tank Jeep out there destructing, causing mass destruction, but it's a lot of money. So I understand.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
It tank cheap, but
No, it's not.
you know,
So here's what we'll do. We're going to pin this video to the top of the page. That way, when people have questions, at least for the next week or two, we can just refer them to it and, maybe enjoy some of the back and forth, but also just great information so they can, catch up. It's just so much that
yeah,
I didn't know. And
you could.
I'm
And
around it
again,
with you a
dude,
lot, but
I'll give you another
it's still
example,
like,
a real life example from Pollywog here. And by the way, I'm writing a book. Jason's wife is
yep.
basically she's the writer. I'm the tell you my story. That'll be coming out. But that having been said, here's another real life story. I didn't know any of this, so I'm in law school back in '93, '94, and I was in a tax exam, and I just happened to score a parking lot, and this was in downtown Houston. So
Okay.
I happened to score a parking lot right in front of the law school. Oh, I was happy. I said, "Woo! Look at this! I'm right there." Bam! Get out of the 3 hour exam,
Jeez.
and someone had smashed into my car. Yeah, and so
No way.
got no note, no please. Come outside. The whole front end of the what is that? The fender is smashed in.
No way.
Yeah, so I don't know anything about insurance. So I look in the glove compartment and I find the insurance policy, and I call up I don't know who it was, and I'm talking,
Yeah.
and she goes, "Well, let's review your coverages," and she's telling me what I have, and one of it was uninsured motorists, but she goes, "But you don't have a collision." I'm like, "Well, it's an uninsured motorist. Come fix my car."
Yeah.
And remember, and that uninsured motorist is if I'm injured,
Injury.
not
Yeah.
my property damage. So I
Right.
didn't know.
Were you hurt, sir?
I thought it was.
I'm hurt now listening to this information.
It's
Yeah.
it's a hit and run. It's an uninsured motorist.
Yeah.
Can I get my car fixed?
I need money for emotional damages and the amount that'll fix the repair.
Yeah. Well, guess what?
Oh man, dude.
I remember the lady laughing and saying, "Sorry, Paul, you're SOL." I'm like, well,
Jeez.
so I drove around. At
The
that
laugh,
point,
like the nail in the
point, the
coffin.
car became the beater.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we call it. Where's the beater?
That's awesome.
So it was beaten to hell.
Jeez. Did you drive that one back to Florida, or did you leave it there?
Oh, I put a million miles on that. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All the
Yeah.
time. Yeah, 16 hours. I'd leave Thursday, 16 hours, come see the kids, see them Friday, Saturday, leave Sunday morning,
Jeez,
16 hours
Paul.
back to Houston. Yeah, I did that a lot.
Damn.
It was rough. But anyway, the beater,
Wow.
even though it looked terrible, it was a Dodge Diplomat, and it drove like a champ. My grandpa gave it to me, so I was happy to have it.
Take it on the chin.
Okay, so as we all know, for whatever reason, we're not getting political, but crime is on the up.
Oh yeah.
Right, and so
It's getting crazy out there.
Jason happens to be a little Twitter troll.
Yeah, I watch.
And so I guess something.
lurk.
Well, I'll let him go. Jason, take over.
Sure.
In the show with your Twitter. What is it called?
Twitter feed.
Twitter
Yeah.
feed experience. Go ahead.
Yeah, so there I follow Ice-T, and he was posting about even everyone is vulnerable now. Even he was attacked. So I'm gonna let's see, it's screen capture here. Yeah. And he posts here on Twitter, and it's got 123,000 retweets. I was robbed at a gas station in New Jersey last night. After my hands stopped trembling, I managed to call the cops, and they were quick to respond and calmed me down. My money is gone. The police asked if I knew who did it, and I said yes. Pump number 9.
That's pretty damn funny.
And people are raging, man.
Yeah.
Some people are like, they're getting
pretty,
so upset.
That's pretty big. God bless them. What a sense of humor. That's pretty
Yeah,
good.
dude.
All right. Well,
I don't care who you are. That's funny.
Yeah, that is pretty funny. All right. So, well, that's it. That's all we got for you.
That's it for today.
I appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate
Yeah.
your support. It's
For
a
sure.
beautiful day, beautiful weekend. Get your butt into church.
Enjoy
I think
it.
there's 187 hours or something of that hours in a week. You can go once for 1 hour and thank Jesus. That's my take on that.
There you go.
All right. Well, that's it.
Yeah. That's it.
We're out.
We're out.